Walking down to the barn, and the first thing I see, taking advantage of the sun, is our pigs completely sunbathing. Oh, now I've disturbed them. Everybody's up now. I'll blame Tori for that since she's so loud. But yeah, the pigs are the first ones to realize that it stopped raining, the sun has come out, and they are taking full advantage of the sun. Everybody else is still sort of up close to the barn. Hi, Missy. Relaxing. There's Wee Man and his mama. And if I take a stroll over where I was headed, we'll see some goats. So I don't think I've talked much about the pigs other than introducing them a bit. We have Myles and Olive. Olive joined our family from a farm that was breeding them for, miniature piggish type of things. And I'm not going to say she was a rescue. She was a piglet. She needed a home, and she came and joined us. She got her name because she's black and round, and she poops pits, and therefore she is Olive. Myles joined us about a year later. Myles was purchased by a well-meaning person. He's completely hiding. I can't get a shot of him at all. By a well-meaning person who bought him at a livestock auction and then brought him to what I'm going to call suburbs, but probably closer to urban environment. Moved him into an apartment, and as a piglet, that's not a problem. But then realized that she couldn't have him, and he spent the first year and a half of his life growing up in an apartment, never seeing the light of day, never seeing the outside, always being hidden because she wasn't allowed to have him, and not being fed very well. He's a happy pig now. Not being fed very well because she wanted to keep him small. Then, unfortunately, it turns out, I guess, that she had to move and she couldn't find a home for him, which is not surprising. It's really hard to find homes for pigs. And so she contacted her veterinarian and asked if her vet would, humanely put him down so that he was not in a bad situation. And I don't blame her for that. I mean, realistically, that's not a terrible solution when you can't find a home and you don't have a choice. It's certainly better than alternative solutions that could involve things that are less humane and involve more suffering. But the vet knew of a pig rescue, put out a pig rescue call at her permission, and somehow or other it found its way to me. And since we already had Olive and they were about the same age, we said, bring them along. So Olive and Myles got together. Olive is a true Vietnamese potbelly, where Myles is a bit of a hybrid. We believe Juliana and potbelly, so AKA a mutt. But they're both about the same size. And Myles he had a lot of deficiencies when we got him. He was emaciated. He had some bone deformities because he had grown up without sunlight. He had grown up without proper nutrition. We've corrected much of that. Pigs are really resilient. Even at a year and a half old, we were able to correct most of his bone deformities without surgery, without anything other than proper nutrition and exercise, daylight, grass, fun things to do. And him and Olive have become fast friends. They snuggle together, as you've seen in other videos. So that's the story of how the pigs came to join us. I'll tell you about how they lived in the house for 5 years with the dogs before we finally got a barn set up that we could put them in and let them really have and be pigs outside. But that's a story for another day. This one's long enough. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know. If you didn't, tell me that too, so I don't do it again. And drop a like, drop a subscribe, tell your friends all the fun YouTube things I'm supposed to say. And we'll talk to you at the next one. Bye.